Welcome to the deep dive, especially for those of you really fascinated by, the deep workings of the human mind, what makes us tick psychologically. Today we're digging into something quite profound. It's Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. And it's more than just a self-help book, wouldn't you say? It feels like a real source of insight for anyone exploring consciousness. It promises this shift from all that mental chatter to quiet. Our mission today is really to unpack what Tolle's ideas mean for understanding our own psychology.
Absolutely. And what's so striking, I think, is how directly Tolle addresses the root of psychological suffering. He points the finger straight back at our own minds, specifically this habit we have of, mental time travel. Constantly dwelling on the past or spinning out about the future. Ask yourself, are you suffering right now in this actual moment? Or is your mind stuck on yesterday's argument? Or maybe stressing about tomorrow?
That hits home. It's almost constant, isn't it? That mental replaying or rehearsing.
It is. And the core insight is that starting this isn't about ignoring problems. It's about unlocking the only place peace and, psychological clarity can actually happen, which is now.
That's such a powerful, almost confronting idea for how we live day to day. So, okay, if our minds pull us away constantly, what about that voice? That narrator inside? Tolle says something pretty radical about that voice in your head. Can you break that down?
Yes, it's fundamental to his whole perspective, really. The idea is that this relentless voice, the one commentating, judging, worrying, planning, that's actually not your true self. Instead, Tolle says you are the awareness, the presence that notices the voice. And that, for psychology, raises huge questions, right? About identity. Who are we if not that stream of thought?
Exactly. If that constant inner monologue isn't me, it completely reframes self-concept.
It suggests our real essence is maybe quieter, more spacious, found in the awareness behind the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves.
Okay, that's a huge shift. So if we're the awareness, how do we disentangle from identifying with the thoughts? And Tolle doesn't stop there, does he? He talks about something deeper, this emotional baggage he calls the pain body.
He does. It builds on that idea of the observing presence. The pain body, as he describes it, is like this dense energy field inside us. It's made up of accumulated past pain, old hurts, anger, sadness, fear, stuff that wasn't fully faced and processed. Think of it like old emotional residue that sort of lives within us unconsciously, and it feeds on negative thinking, often triggering big reactions.
So it's not just thoughts, but unresolved feelings creating this entity almost.
Kind of, yeah. But here's the really crucial part, especially for psychological well-being. The moment you become truly aware of it, consciously present with that feeling, without judging it, without getting lost in the story about it, it starts to dissolve. So awareness isn't passive observation here. It's actually an active agent of healing, a mechanism for release.
Awareness itself as the healing force. That sounds incredibly potent, but probably not easy to do consistently. We're so used to getting swept away. Does Tolle talk about navigating that? And how does this fit with, say, psychological concepts like the ego versus consciousness?
He definitely acknowledges the challenge. It takes practice, a real shift. And that distinction between ego and consciousness is key to understanding that shift. Tolle paints the ego as that constructed self, the I that constantly needs definition through separation, comparing, needing to be right, identifying with problems or achievements. It thrives on difference. Consciousness, on the other hand, which he sees as our true nature, is rooted in unity, in presence. It doesn't need separation.
So the ego is built on me versus them or me versus the world.
Exactly. And being fully present with that's not about passive resignation. It's about surrendering the mental fight against the reality of this moment, accepting it fully without the labels and judgments the ego wants to impose. This fundamentally changes how we deal with internal conflict, moving from mental struggle to just being with what's actually here.
So thinking about our journey, exploring the psyche, what's the big takeaway here for psychological well-being? It seems to circle back to this core idea. Peace, clarity, even a sense of personal power. They don't come from analyzing the past or controlling the future, but from right now. It's not about stopping thought, is it? More like thinking consciously, observing it all, thoughts, emotions, even that pain body without being totally consumed.
Precisely. Let's quickly recap those core psychological insights we've touched on from Tolle. First, this liberating idea. The voice in your head isn't you, it's something you observe. Second, the pain body, that reservoir of old emotional pain, can actually dissolve through awareness, which is profound for healing. And third, that crucial difference. The ego thrives on separation and feeds suffering, while consciousness finds freedom in unity and presence. Ultimately, the message is that awareness itself is the fundamental key for healing, for clarity.
Okay, so if that peace and clarity really are found only in the present moment, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What questions does this raise about how we usually approach mental health? Our often relentless search for answers outside of just being with what is right now. Something for you to consider as you continue exploring psychology. How might thinking consciously, really stepping into the present, fundamentally change your own experience and understanding?
So this book summary is powered by International Psychology Association. Follow us for more interesting book summaries and psychology updates. Thank you.